My name is Stacy Peralta. I'm at the Adler Smith Gallery in Santa Monica, and Charles has invited me to have a show here. It's called The Joy of Decay, and it's about the history of skateboarding. I got my start doing drawings like this, which are abstracts. A friend of mine was in town one night. He was at a hotel, and we ended up doing paintings inside hotels and hanging them in there and leaving them there, and that led to my love of painting. The woman I share my life with, Gina, suggested to me one day that I start painting my skateboard collection because I have this collection that is incredibly rare, and this is the result of it. These are many boards that were mine, and I've painted them, and so they represent a history of skateboarding themselves. These are the very, very first boards in the 1960s that were made, commercial boards. They were all based on the surfboard technology. These wheels were skateboard wheels, but they were all from roller skates, and they're what's called clay wheels, which is the same thing Fred Flintstone would have ridden because they're like rocks. This is probably one of the very first commercial skateboards in the world, called the roller derby skateboard. It had metal wheels, incredibly dangerous. This is when skateboards turned from wood to fiberglass, and still clay wheels, but they were colored clay wheels, okay? And then over here we have the 1960s boards again, and then as we get into the 70s, we see this skateboarding truck starts to emerge and starts to evolve, okay? And then the show is called The Joy of Decay, and this is 6 wheels that are really suffering from insane decay. If you look at this pool right here, to a skateboarder, that's paradise. Broken tiles, scraped sides, dirty. It's the exact opposite of what people think of a paradisical pool. Also, a skateboarder's idea of a paradisical pool is a pool 3/4 empty with a little bit of green water at the bottom. That means they can empty it and skate it soon. And then here, these 4 cameras represent 4 of the most important cameras in skateboarding history. Craig Stesick's cameras, Glenn Friedman's cameras, Grant Britton's cameras. And they're 3 of the most important photographers in skateboarding history. These 6 wheels represent the birth of the urethane wheel. And when you shine light through urethane wheels, they come through, many colors emerge. Like this wheel right here is traditionally an amber colored wheel, but when you shove light through it, it becomes amber and red and yellow and orange. And so that's what you see in all these different wheels. And then this was one of my personal models in the 1970s. It was called the Single Beamer by Powell Peralta. And then these are more Powell Peralta boards. This is a Neil Blender model from Gordon and Smith. All the boards are in a state of decay, and so you see a lot of the decay, in a lot of the paintings. And then a big, huge part of skateboarding is Vans shoes. And so I have various Vans shoes in different decayed states, including an original Van Doren box, because the Vans shoes were originally called Van Doren shoes. Another Powell Peralta board, they were Dayglow in color, and this is a really beat up board that a friend of mine in Australia owns. And here's 2 more really influential cameras. This is the Bones Brigade 16mm camera and the Bones Brigade video camera. And then over here are 3 graffiti garbage bins that are hybrids because I've taken skate and surf logos and mixed them with graffiti logos to do kind of a hybrid graffiti garbage bin.